Hello and welcome everyone to another StarCraft 2 England cast. Today I have got a game between Liquid's Jinro and a player called Silhouette. Silhouette is the red Terran player in the bottom right, and we have got Jinro as the blue Terran player in the top left. So this is of course a Terran versus Terran TvT game, and I'm looking forward to it because my channel does not have enough TvT games. It doesn't have enough TvT or PvP games. It doesn't really have enough mirror matches of any type, because mirror matches tend to either be a love or hate thing. It's great if you play the race because you can learn some stuff, but if you don't play the race, they tend not to be so popular in my opinion, although TvTs, I think, in my opinion, are the best mirror matchup. It's tough to say though, because obviously there's advantages and disadvantages. I mean, a ZVZ, that's crazy. It's not coin flippy, don't get me wrong. It's one of those matchups where things can rapidly go one way or the other. You can literally make one little mistake and get one baneling hit early on and win or lose the game because of it. So that's quite fun. PvPs, they've luckily evolved beyond the stage of who can 4-gate the best. And now there's some variation, which is quite cool. PvPs end up quite good. But TvTs, they can be really long and drawn out, purely because it's all about the tank movement, the superior tank numbers, air superiority. Generally there's just so much that can go on. There's some good little moves as well, like dropping onto a tank line, and I quite like that. I think it's much, in some ways I like the slower aspect of it, that you can really think about your moves. It's got to be very tactical in how you execute your strategy, but likewise it can also be quite fast paced. You can have drops going off for naturals and main bases, multi-prong attacks. I think TvTs are the most thought out in terms of what people do, and I like that, and a lot of that comes from a lot of Korean players being Terran, so more TvT matchups were around. Jinro here, it looks like he's going to be going for that expansion pretty damn quick, and will Silhouette see it? Well, he'll see that there's no gas taken down, but likewise Silhouette himself, he's got no gas. He's also bringing down a SCV of his own. Both players are going for this one Rax command center build. Jinro's was down fractionally sooner, by around sort of 7 seconds-ish, at a quick guesstimate, which isn't huge, but obviously if you are 7 seconds quicker on everything you do in your build order, then in a mirror match that quickly becomes quite a significant amount of time. Now we will see a bit of a deviation here. Jinro is getting a double gas up super quickly, meanwhile Silhouette isn't. Silhouette is just getting no gas, because no gas means you can get a lot of marines, you can get a lot of barracks, but no tech. 2 gas means you're going to be able to tech pretty damn quickly, and tech is awesome, unless of course you die to a lot of early units, or you don't win quickly enough to be able to deal with a superior economy gained from not taking that gas early. But it looks like Silhouette is going to go for 2 more barracks straight on here, so we're probably going to see quite a lot of marines very quickly out of Silhouette. Meanwhile, Jinro and both Silhouette are finishing up their command centers, and still things are going pretty damn normal. We will see Silhouette here getting both of his refineries. Now, what does this effectively play out? Well, it means that here we will see that Jinro's got his factory out soon, he's getting that reactor, so that'll probably get switched to get reactor Hellions out for Jinro. Meanwhile, with Silhouette, he's going to have more marines out a lot quicker because of that extra production from the extra barracks. It will also mean that when these 2 gases are up and running, we'll throw down a tech lab, get stim or combat shield, and a double reactor to really ramp up production. So it's a different in tactics, and I really like that because of the way Terran plays, as I mentioned earlier, you have a bit more time, there's not too much happening super quickly, and as a result you can see different strategies play out, and ultimately it's hard to tell which will work. I mean, obviously Hellions are going to be very strong against Marine heavy build, purely because Marines are light. Hellion do bonus damage against light, and here comes a 3rd gas from Silhouette, so he will actually be catching up in terms of gas income now. He has straight away got combat shield on the way. Meanwhile, we will see a 2nd factory, and this barracks is purely being used for add-ons, so a very mech heavy build coming out from Jinro here. Will it pay off? Only time will tell. But, I mean, if those Hellions get in and do a good amount of damage, Blue Flame could conceivably come out from that tech lab, in which case this Marine Heavy build will do a lot. There comes our money scan down from Jinro. He's now seen exactly what's going on. I believe he scouts the double engineering bay. No, not quite. He misses one, but not too bad there. Some Hellions already out on the field here now for Jinro. Will he get any more? He didn't actually pick off. Oh no, it's his watchtower. What am I on about? Those tiny little dots you can't see too clearly on this coloured background, which is a bit of a pain. We will see a lot of Marines up here for Silhouette. He's got a good spread on them, so those Hellions would have a tough time pushing up at the moment. And we will see a Tech Lab and a Reactor, so a double Tech Lab. Will that get stimmed straight away? Blue Flame coming out there from Jinro. Meanwhile, we will see Jinro also getting our Starport. Now, I'm going to be honest, that seems a bit counterintuitive to the fact that he's just gone so heavy on the factories so early on, but purely Jinro just getting a lot in terms of Hellions to deal with any Marine pressure. He can transition out of that, but again, not going pure mech purely because that Starport coming in there, getting Medivacs out of it as well. Meanwhile, we've got up here for Silhouette, well, he's getting those double upgrades. He's also getting a concussive shell and stim. Combat shield already finished up, so a very infantry heavy army out of Silhouette. And if he gets enough Marauders, well, these Hellions won't be a problem, especially with the concussive shell when that finishes up. Third base coming out for Jinro, a very early third base, and that's purely because these Hellions are giving him such great map control that the Silhouette can't move out to put on pressure. He can't even drop but yet, but having said that, here comes the Starport, a factory with a reactor on it, so there will be a switch over, double Hellions will be coming out, and drop plate could come into effect, and that would be fantastic, especially considering that so far Jinro, well, he's getting Blue Flame, he's getting a siege tank out, so he's going mech heavy, and actually this Starport has got a tech lab on him. What is he going to be doing with it? Well, only time will tell. It looks like a Raven is coming out, so that is a good choice. Now, here we will see a Hellion drop come out. So that is why that Starport went down. It is to drop Hellions up into the main. But we will see here that there are some Marauders and Marines there ready to deal with it. Blue Flame is done though, but to be honest, Jinro will have a tough time doing much. But it does look like Silhouette not quite paying full attention there. We will see an armory come down there for Silhouette. A scouting factory move out was Jinro got, but his third base is nearly finishing up. He has got that Raven coming out. No upgrades coming from that tech lab at all. Siege mode on the way, the first siege tank already out on the high ground. What have we got down here for Silhouette? Well, he's getting his fourth gas out. He's got quirky Marines, and here comes the Hellion drop. Blue Flame down, but a lot of SCVs killed, pulled. Were any killed? Well, 5 were taken down by Jinro there, so that was a good little move. Could have done some more damage, and here comes the switcheroo. And what is that tech lab going to be used for? Well, it's going to be a factory, so double tank production coming out, so it is a mech heavy build from Jinro here against the very infantry focus build. 2-2 already on the way, so the upgrades here for Silhouette are incredible. There comes the third command center out, and that drop is pulling back there for Jinro. Wants to repair up that Hellion and really take as minimal losses as possible. Some Hellions down here as well, looking for the third base, but it's actually a third base down here that's going to be taken for Silhouette. Jinro, well, he's just taking out these rocks before moving down. The big issue that Jinro has is once these tanks start coming into play more and more of his army is essentially reliant on that tank placement, whereas this infantry heavy army is much more mobile, and because of that, multi-pronged attacks would be very effective. The second factory is down, double vehicle upgrades coming down, and a third factory even on the way, and really, well, no, a fourth factory, what am I even on about? That's 4 factories, the Hellions coming out there, so very mech heavy play. Here comes Silhouette pushing forward, and, well, it looks like Jinro is going to be trying to get in with a drop. Will he be able to sneak this in? Well, there is that missile turret there, the medevac, nearly full health though, so even if it did take some damage, it won't be much. Jinro would have to just go for this, but really, it looks like Silhouette's moving out, so if Jinro times this right, it could do huge damage. And I mean, once Jinro sees that there, he could do it, but actually he's moving back, moving forward, moving back, moving forward, moving back. And has he decided on back? Can I safely move? But no, Jinro will see. Obviously, these units are moving out. That Hellion for Jinro will see absolutely everything. The third base is up. A second, 2 more command centers being built here, so they'll probably go into Planetary Fortress just to enable the better defense. We have got, in terms of production, well, 1-1 upgrades about half done. 2-2 is already finished though here for Silhouette. So Silhouette's infantry is looking very scary, with the medevac support is very good. That one medevac moving forward just to get a good scout out, but just look at this tank placement. That tank is fantastically placed. That's going to be so hard to deal with. Also good tank spread, so to be honest, Silhouette will have a tough time pushing into that. There's some Vikings being produced out of that starport there now. That is really key, because that'll take out the medevacs. very, very quickly for Jinro and will actually allow him to do a lot of damage. But there is a tank up here, and here are the Vikings, and if they pick up that medevac before it all goes down, that's a big win. And will we be able to pick out the next one? Yes, it will. So that was nicely cleaned up with those Vikings there. Still, this one medevac sitting here, not moving in yet, and that could have been a good opportunity too, because really there's just that one missile turret and nothing really sitting back. There's a couple of units right at the ramp, but quite a lot of damage could be done. 3-3 already on its way out there for Silhouette, and we will see Silhouette just pulling back. 2-2, is it 2-2? No, just +2 weapons. There we go, 2-2 on the way out there for Jinro. He's also getting another reactor, so going to go a bit more, well, Hellion heavy, and that's quite interesting. Here comes a drop of some reactor Hellions down here. Won't be able to do much, but there is 2 more barracks coming down. One will be forced to cancel. Here comes in some Marines and Marauders. Those SCVs are trying to be safe, but wants to be very, very careful. Doesn't want to pull them back. The Hellions are split out, but will get taken out pretty damn quickly. But again, Jinro got some good scouting information there. He is in the supply lead. He's still got those Vikings out. He's stopped producing them at the moment, which I think's fine because he's got 2 there. He's got 5, I believe. Just take a look. Yep, 5 Vikings out. He's converted these command centers into orbital commands, getting another command center. So mass mules coming out here for Jinro. His economy is going to be amazing, but a 4th base coming out for Silhouette. He's getting more barracks because, hell, if you're going infantry, just get as many barracks as possible. 3-3 nearly finished up. So this is going to be a mass upgraded infantry army against a pure mech army of Jinro. Now, Jinro is producing 4 Hellions at a time, getting more factories added on because obviously you need the production buildings, and Jinro actually floating quite a lot of resources here. Macro-wise, definitely Silhouette is doing better, but if you look at the income tab, actually really quite similar. So that's surprising, and Jinro doesn't really want to be floating minerals too much because obviously that's lost production, and that's why he's adding on these extra factories, getting another command center. So kind of going very, very command center happy here, and there's no reason not to. But also Silhouette going quite command center happy, getting his 5th base up. So if he manages to maintain these 2 bases, Silhouette is going to be in an amazing position. We will see here that Jinro just taking out the rocks to try and take this 4th base of his own, but that's going to get denied by the small infantry pack. And wow, look at the tank numbers. Now, all Jinro needs is a good tank container and it'll be fine. But look at this, these units for Silhouette, are they going to get scouted? If they are, that could be a big problem. There goes the scan, and Jinro will know exactly what is there. But meanwhile, we've got a counterattack coming here. The Marines are going to pick up some command centers, and that would be good. But here comes the mech reinforcements, and Vikings will be able to pick up the medevac exceptionally quickly. But we've got a drop coming down here for Jinro as well. Where do you look? Well, look at how much damage Jinro is doing to the economy line there. And meanwhile, Jinro's just pulled back, and I mean, really, Jinro, 20 workers killed. That's amazing. So somehow we will see Silhouette staying up there in terms of the SCV production. That's purely because he's got his 4th and 5th base up now. He's pretty happy there. He's getting a lot of units out. He's going very, very Marauder heavy. And that's not a problem at all. The Marauders are going to be super effective against the mech. Siege tanks could pose a bit of a problem if they get in a good position, but obviously so immobile compared to Silhouette's army. I mean, resources lost really show how cost effective this mech build is being for Jinro. And actually, meanwhile, there's been a drop come off down here, and that 3rd base for Jinro has been denied. And that is a big, big loss, because obviously now it is a 5-base Silhouette against a 2-base Jinro. Jinro is floating down to take this base though, which bringing back up to 3 bases. Sorry for the misclick there. What else is going on? Well, we've got that +1 air attack coming up, because obviously the longer a Terran versus Terran game goes on, the more important air superiority is. And essentially for Silhouette, he needs that air superiority, because his infantry is going to start coming across a lot of problems when this mech army maxes out, especially if these tanks get a good position, which is looking as if they could. And what are the upgrades? Well, Jinro is a 2-2, and of course Silhouette is a 3-3 for his infantry, trying to run by, but I mean, I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem. And it actually looks like Jinro is not even bothering sieging up. Having said that, there goes one siege up, but a couple of tanks being picked off. And if Silhouette can keep picking off tanks with so few units, he's going to be in a great spot. Those Hellions are doing a great job against the Marines, but obviously the Marauders are very good against Hellions. But we will see here Silhouette just charging up to see if this base is being retaken, but no, not yet. and this just shows how slow that mech army is, because really Silhouette is just attacking everywhere, and that is ideally what he needs to do. The Sense Tower is essential to Jinro's play because it's giving him an early warning of what could be going on. So more Hellions are being picked up, and I have to say Jinro is being somewhat careless with his Hellions because they're so much faster than the tank. If he runs them forward too quickly, they just get taken out by the Marauders. But I would say Jinro is still in a dominating position. This 4th and 5th base of Silhouette haven't really been used to their full effect. Plus 3 vehicle weapons on the way out now for Jinro, plus 2 ship weapons on the way for Silhouette. He's also getting a lot of Vikings, but the Viking numbers certainly in favour of Jinro, outnumbering 3 to 1. Now, great use of a point defense drone there, and that is denying a lot of damage from Silhouette. Silhouette's got the high ground advantage though. He's going to pick up a tempo. Great money scan comes out of Jinro, and to be honest, Jinro has now pretty much won this game. He's marched up on this 3rd base. He's got so many tanks, and he's got such a dominating supply lead. Those Hellions doing huge damage. There goes down that 3rd base. And, well, what's it going to be? Well, the Vikings trying to come in to do some damage, but just the Viking numbers so superior. And of course, the player with the most units wins at the end of the day, especially when it comes in a Viking fight. Now, what really can Silhouette do? Well, he isn't in a position where he can drop. He's lost his 3rd base. Yes, he's got this 4th and 5th base there. Planetary Fortress at 1. The other one not converted into anything. But here we go. A lot of Banshees there. Now, if these Vikings can be taken out by Silhouette, which they will be, then those Banshees are going to be able to do huge amounts of damage. That was a lovely, lovely switch there. And, I mean, it's just whether Jinro can kill off Silhouette before Silhouette can kill off Jinro's army. And it could be pretty damn close, but essentially, all Silhouette needs to do is focus down the tanks ASAP. But here comes the tanks. If they get a siege up in the main base, they're going to completely crush all of the production facilities of Silhouette. But Silhouette, of course, he's got those other 2 bases up and running if he needs, and that will give him the economy to continue this game. But really, how many Banshees can he get out? Well, he isn't producing any more, but having said that, it looks like he's cleaned this up. This is an amazing, amazing game, and those tanks have picked up an awful lot of add-ons. They're focusing down the reactors as opposed to the tech labs, and that reactor just goes down, which is unfortunate there for Silhouette. But here we go, mass switch around, and those Banshees really played out amazingly. What has Jinro got? Well, Jinro, he is just behind in terms of the Viking numbers, and I mean, he's got nothing to do with that air. He's got 2 Thors out, but 2 Thors alone are going to be a bit of a problem. Obviously, they do bonus damage to light. Banshees, obviously, as you can see, light units, so really what can he do? Here comes the missile turrets. They're going to get focused down mode. A repair won't get off on one. Will it go on the other? Probably not. And here comes a bit of Viking on Viking action, and obviously Silhouette will come out on top there to the superior numbers, but the Thors helping out tremendously. Obviously those Vikings were clumped up, and these Banshees are clumped up as well, and look at how quickly those Banshees go down, and just a couple of Thor volleys, and that is really taken Silhouette's temporary advantage and flushed it down the toilet, so to speak. Now, really, what is there for Silhouette to do? Well, he is on 3 bases against the 5 bases of Jinro. Jinro, he's just switching into a much more Thor-heavy playstyle. He is at 3-2. He could do with getting the +3 armor upgrades. I'm surprised he hasn't gone for that yet, because he has the money to. And obviously just makes your army so much more effective. Now, here we go. We will see Jinro assault this base, and really, if this base goes down, then Jinro's going to have a great position, because it will essentially leave Silhouette on 1 mining base. There goes the tank sieged up. The Thors obviously outranged the planetary fortress, and there it goes down. And to be honest, unless Silhouette pulls out something amazing here, it's going to have major problems. Jinro killed off 74 SCVs. Having said that though, Silhouette's done not a too bad job of killing off SCVs himself. Going for a bit of a counter-attack here. He's already got some units up here, but I mean, it's not quite enough to deal with a Thor and a couple of Hellions. There was base picked off here actually. I completely missed that while watching Jinro try and take the lead. So the point is though, it comes down to the fact that Silhouette, he is on 1 mining base, whereas Jinro is on 2 mining bases, and obviously 2 is greater than 1. Here we go with a bit of engagement, but there's just too many Thors there, and frankly Thors are amazing, especially when they start getting up into really high numbers, and because of that, Silhouette is pretty much out of this game now. Jinro's a double the supply. He's even landing the Vikings pretty good on Silhouette, trying to hold off as long as possible. But in all honesty, there's nothing else he can do. He's got some production facilities, and there is the GG from Silhouette. So that was a bit of a back and forth game. I think Silhouette's issue purely was he didn't multi-prong enough. He could have done some more drops. He didn't really punish Jinro for having an immobile army, and as a result Jinro could max out and just slowly and methodically move forward and just take out Silhouette. But Silhouette did a good job switching to Banshees to try and take out the tanks and take the air superiority, but it wasn't quite enough in time. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that game. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Subscribe to my YouTube if you would please, and also follow me on Twitter at sc2_England if you have any games that you'd like me to cast that you think are awesome. It doesn't matter too much on the league. If they're an awesome low level game, they're fun or anything like that, I don't mind doing an analysis, or just casting a fun game. So send them over to StarCraft SC2England at hotmail.co.uk. Thank you very much for watching, and tune in again. Bye for now.